What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. It has been a week of surprises, hasn't it? First, we had new Pokemon Snap, which is the sequel to the original Pokemon Snap on the Nintendo 64, and now Skate 4. Okay, I keep saying Skate 4, the next Skate game, all right? That is a sequel to Skate 3 on the Xbox 360. That's right, it is really happening. EA made an announcement that made everyone happy. It's an amazing time to be alive, isn't it? But we're gonna go over the EA Play event, as there were some other announcements there. One really big game going to the Switch from EA that also brings a certain engine to the Switch. Yeah, we'll go over that here. Also, it looks like a new Crash Bandicoot game is really coming. It was, of course, rumored before, but now media outlets are starting to get packages in the mail from their favorite Bandicoot that might be pointing to an announcement coming soon. As always, guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button. It helps out a ton. And if you're brand new here, hit that red subscribe button down below as we head towards 500,000 subscribers. And we're going to start today with Cyberpunk 2077. It's been delayed another 2 months now. I talked about this on the second channel, Spawnwave Plus, a bit more in depth about everything, but they put this message out here saying that the new release date would be November 19th. And for me, that places it close or like almost right on top of the launch for the new systems, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. So they may get a bit of benefit out of that one. I got a bit more into the topic, like I said, on the second channel. Now, what's happened here? CD Projekt Red cited that they wanted to iron out more of the bugs and glitches and things that could cause concern and would lead to maybe not quite an amount of patches that Fallout 76 has had to have to get to an acceptable level of it actually turning on and, working. But I believe CD Projekt Red here, they have at least earned the benefit of the doubt. I would say that they really do want to make the best possible game that they can and ship it out to us where it is a complete product, and I'm willing to wait another couple months based on how ambitious this game is and what they've described to us, but we'll also be getting more information on the game next week when several different journalists and outlets get to do previews for the game, so look forward to that. Also, we did have several games from EA, once again, make their way over to Steam, and there is one in there that I hope more and more people get a chance to check out because it is a very, very good game and it was overlooked when it first came out, and then it's had to go on steep discounts just to get people to try the thing out. Anyway, now it's on Steam, maybe we'll have a chance here to get it kind of moving along and get a sequel to it. Here's the list of the different EA games that are going to Steam, and you'll probably see them pop up because they will be heavily discounted. And you can see some of them here. This is from Gamatsu, where they wrote up the list. A Way Out, Dead Space 3, Need for Speed Most Wanted, Need for Speed Payback, The Sims 4, and Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 is $9.89 and is a game that everyone should at least buy to play because it is a very, very good game. And it going to Steam, I don't expect it to top any sales charts. It's not going to be what Persona 4 Golden did, right? Because that was a very big deal. Titanfall 2 has been very cheap pretty much constantly. It fell in price rapidly, and a lot of people have checked it out, but I hope that it goes to Steam and does at least okay there, right? I want a Titanfall 3. I want EA to look at this and say, yeah, let's do it. And maybe that is a next generation game. And I can only imagine what a Titanfall 3 would look like on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. Based on what they were able to get out of the Xbox One X with Titanfall 2, that legitimately could be a first-person shooter at 120 frames per second, and that would be absolutely amazing. Also, we did have another update to that PlayStation 5 website. They keep changing it, Sony does, as more information comes out. This section here appears to be the new information that they added that mentions ray tracing, 4K TV gaming, which I would hope would be there, up to 120 frames per second with 120 hertz output, HDR technology, and 8K output. That was also mentioned here, and they even said the exact resolution of 4320p, and I assume that's going to be checkerboarded up, or hey, you know what? Maybe some developer out there with a less demanding game says, we're gonna be the first native 8K game on the PlayStation 5, and we will advertise that all over the place. I would. I mean, if I'm gonna go ahead and port Pong over, yes, it is going to be an 8K. Now, you probably have some developer, like I said, grab a less demanding game and move it over and put it at that resolution just to do it. I mean, it's something that people who buy an 8K TV, which they're getting cheaper, they're less than $10,000, okay? By the time we get halfway through the PlayStation 5's life cycle, they'll probably be less than $1,000. You'll start to see them move into homes much like 4K TVs are now. But more information there, and we'll continue to watch the website as it gets updated going forward. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. We're gonna start right away with EA Play. Now, of course, this was their event that it was pre-recorded. They were going to do it like it was their EA, I guess what they usually do every E3, but naturally they had to record everything and kind of cut it together. It wasn't going to be a live event, so it was a bit, I'll say a bit faster, although they did have some downtime where there was a lot of talking going on and not a lot of gameplay, but they had some alright announcements. This is a weird spot, I think, for a lot of these companies because it is like literally right between generations. EA, I think, will have a much better showing next year, especially with some of the things that they teased here at this event towards the end. But they did kick things off talking about games going to Steam, which we already mentioned that, where Gamatsu kind of rounded up the different listings like Titanfall 2 and The Sims 4. But they also went on to talk about Apex Legends. And yes, Apex Legends is going to the Switch this fall. It will have full cross-play across the board with the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, Steam, and Origin. So all of these systems and digital platforms will work together so that you can play with your friends, which is great. And that is the first time we're seeing Source, it seems, going to the Switch, which is funny because if you remember a while ago, before the Switch came out, remember the developer who said that Titanfall 2 wouldn't work on the Switch? Maybe it could. I don't know. It's something interesting. I don't see any reason for EA to go back and try it at all because they're moving forward with Apex Legends, but it is something to think about. The Source engine, though, showing up on the Switch. And from there, EA did mention that they will have 7 games over the next 12 months that will be going to the Switch. I think that's a response to the overwhelming success of the Switch and all the questions the investors keep asking them. Hey, what's going on with the Switch here? You're not doing anything with it. Yeah, but they did reveal actually quite a few games that are going to be going. Some of them outside of Apex Legends may disappoint. Burnout is out today. It's $50 for some reason. There you go. FIFA 21, that's the Legacy Edition, not FIFA 21 also. And then we all had a few EA original games, which is good. But basically we have now whittled it down to 3 more games over the next 12 months. It could be something like The Sims 4, which makes a ton of sense, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. Speaking of the EA originals, Hazelight announced It Takes Two, which looks like a pretty cool kind of platforming co-op game. They're really into their co-op games over there, but it looked interesting enough. Zoink Games announced Lost in Random. That one will be going to the Switch, so that is one of the 7. That one looked kind of like a Nightmare Before Christmas almost with that art style. It'd be interesting to see. From there, we also had Rocket Arena, which I thought was more of a free-to-play kind of game, but it looks like it's going to be $40 and it's coming out next month, so not too far away from here. And then we got into Star Wars Squadrons, and it was interesting because it looked like a mix of gameplay and then cinematics, but I guess it was mostly in-engine, and when they did jump into the cockpit of an X-Wing or a TIE fighter, it looked really good. This game looks amazing. If you went back and told like 8-year-old me who's sitting there playing X-Wing and TIE Fighter on like their Windows 98 machine that this was going to eventually happen, I would have thought you were crazy because this looks incredible. It's out October 2nd. We already talked about all the details with pricing at $40. No microtransactions, despite there being several things to unlock by, get this, playing the game. Amazing, right? Anyway, we did get a full montage trailer for Madden 21 and FIFA 21, and they looked fine enough. Again, I think that's gonna be one we'll have to see in motion, but it's still just Madden and FIFA, so hey, if you're a FIFA fan or a Madden fan, you're probably really excited to see what those games will look and play like on next-gen platforms. And then they did give us kind of this preview of Dragon Age and Battlefield, Need for Speed. They were mostly going through some of the technology and it looked great, but we'll see, I think, most of this stuff next year when we really are in like kind of the thick of things with next gen, and maybe E3 will be back. We'll see with all of that. I think looking back at this, it was an okay event, but parts of it did have a little too much downtime, I think, and not enough gameplay, but they at least had variety here. They didn't just spend like 20 minutes on FIFA and Madden. That was actually a pretty quick trailer, although they pretty much know those are going to sell, and they could just put out separate trailers on their YouTube channel or even press releases, and they'll all still do really well. But otherwise, that was an alright show, at least until the last thing. And that last thing is the next Skate game. I'm gonna keep calling it Skate 4 because to me, it's Skate 4. They probably won't call it Skate 4. I think they're just gonna call it Skate, and they should, because this should be something that they release and then just continuously update going forward, especially if there is not a massive shift in controls, which they might not. The way they've been talking about it in an interview that was released pretty much as soon as this was announced, it looks like they're gonna be keeping it mostly skate. I mean, that's kind of what we want, right? I've seen some of the evolutions in the skateboarding game genre with things like Skater XL and Session goes a bit far with the simulation skateboarding. Skater XL pulls it back a bit, and Skate, while it is kind of the simulation style, more realistic skateboarding game, it's always been pretty arcadey and a lot of fun. So if they stick with that, and it's on next-gen platforms where there's like no load times, visually stunning, I'm all for that. I think it's gonna be really, really cool. But then we had some interesting details in this interview that was dropped. Now, this was from Gen Mag, and they had talked to Cuz Perry and Darren Chung. Now, they were both parts of the original team that worked on Skate 3. And some of the interesting parts here, one in particular, which I thought was pretty funny, is that the reason that Skate 3 came back, the online servers, is because someone at EA had just rebooted a PC and the servers kicked back on after they did it. It was accidental completely. Like, they didn't mean to do it, as accidental. And what happened after that is that they decided to bring those servers back because there was such a big reaction to it. And on top of all of this, the biggest reason that this new Skate game, again, Skate 4, is coming back is because the fans wanted it so badly. We literally tweeted and trended this thing into existence. So go team. But they were asked when development started, and we will point out the person who really made this happen and get it done. And they said it started with the transition to Laura Meal, who is the chief studios officer. Once she got in, it was moving. She was like, as soon as I got into this job, I wanted to do something with this franchise. So it was a perfect storm. So thank you, Laura. I'm sure all of the Skate fans are really happy that you were able to make this happen. I don't think Skate's coming out for a while. This seems like something that they literally threw together and they were like, hey, get your webcams. You guys are gonna let everyone know that Skate is happening. It is a thing, but we legitimately might be like 3 years off from this. It's gonna be a bit, but I'm all for it. I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm gonna get back into playing Skate 3 again. I've been doing Skater XL, but it's time to break out the Xbox controller again and check it out. It is fully backwards compatible on the Xbox One and I guess the Series X, and they should probably promote that going forward because it's still a very good game to play. Hey, maybe they even put out a patch that adds some extra stuff to it for the Series X, maybe? We'll see with that one, but exciting stuff. Really happy. I'm sure a lot of Skate fans are as well because now we have a brand new Skate game to look forward to. Next up, let's talk about Crash Bandicoot because, well, there have been rumors about a new Crash game getting announced and even released just soonish. We thought it was going to be at that Sony event, right? Because we had heard these different rumors for it, and we figured, oh, Sony, Activision are pretty close when it comes to the Crash Bandicoot series. Currently, with Sony getting that full year of exclusivity with the Insane Trilogy, and of course, they were the ones that showed off CTR in the first place. But the PS5 event came and went. No Crash, but now you can see, for example, IGN showing off a puzzle that was sent their way. This is from Jonathan Dornbush. Holding it up, it says, a little something to help you pass the time all capitalized there, your favorite Bandicoot. So the puzzle itself put together shows what appears to be like a mask and all of that. That's great, but the big thing here, obviously, is that a Crash Bandicoot game is being announced soon. This is similar to what we saw with the Spyro trilogy, and we also saw it with CTR. So typically when those went out, which Spyro was an egg and CTR was like Fuzzy Dice. When that happened, it was like a couple weeks after. Remember, we were coming up to E3 and we figured, oh, obviously they're gonna announce it at E3, so we'll look forward to that. So maybe in the coming weeks we'll see a Crash Bandicoot game announced. But the question here is this going to be a current gen or a next-gen game? Because I would assume it's a current-gen game, but maybe it could even be cross-gen and they add some enhancements for like the PlayStation 5 and the Series X and all of that. Activision wants to obviously make as much money as they can, so unless they sign some sort of exclusivity deal, I expect it to be, well, announced for everything, as much as they can do with it. So I guess look out for a new Crash Bandicoot game sometime soon. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about Spider-Man Miles Morales, as Insomniac did put out a blog post on the PlayStation website, working to detail it a little more. I mean, there were a lot of questions as soon as that teaser trailer went up during the PlayStation 5 event. A lot of us weren't really sure what it was. I kind of figured it was some sort of expansion to Spider-Man, maybe a standalone one, and I brought up Uncharted Lost Legacy when we were doing the live stream for it, and that turns out that's what it is, which is fine, I think. It's going to be really, really cool to see how they bring Miles Morales in and what his story is going towards, I assume, Spider-Man 2, which is where this is going to lead to. But Insomniac did tell us a few extra things about it, as we can expect it seemingly to take advantage of the PlayStation 5. This is what they had to say. We are also excited for the game to demonstrate the power of the PlayStation 5 this holiday. Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales will show off near instant loading, ray tracing, 3D audio, and the DualSense controller. We've upgraded our characters with 4D scans and improved skin shading for more realistic looking characters and spline-based hair that moves far more naturally. Many of the city's assets have also been updated to take advantage of the new console. As you experience Miles' story, you'll see, hear, and feel things in a whole new way, all thanks to PS5. So there we go. People were wondering, oh, are they just mostly moving over the original Spider-Man and like tacking on an expansion? No, this sounds like it is literally built to take advantage of the PlayStation 5, and that's really exciting because we've heard the effect that the PS5 had on the original Spider-Man for the PS4. They use that in demonstrations to kind of web swing through the city super fast. Near instant load times, ray tracing, 3D audio, upgraded character models, all of this stuff sounds amazing. So yeah, I'm pretty much ready for Spider-Man Miles Morales. I think most of us who get a PS5, we're probably picking it up. And to be honest, I don't really know if the launch lineup is going to be that amazing from Sony, as it sounds like more and more of their stuff will come out in 2021, with maybe Horizon being first half of 2021. Otherwise, it's looking like Spider-Man and Ratchet and Clank, but it's good to hear that both of them seemingly will be taking advantage of the PS5 fully to show it off. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This is from Portgas saying, "It's funny how Pokemon Snap 2, who's going to be done by another company, looks far better." And yeah, I'd agree. I think new Pokemon Snap looks much better than Sword and Shield. I don't really know anyone who's saying otherwise right now, because of course that N64 tree, right? That always comes up. Can't talk about Sword and Shield visuals without getting that tree from the Nintendo 64 thrown in there. But of course, new Pokemon Snap has a bit of an advantage that it is a rail type game. Like you're on rails, you're taking pictures. Everything's kind of predetermined for you for the most part. And it looks like Bandai said, well, we'll take advantage of that and make this game look really pretty. And they have also that trailer at 60 frames. Are we going to get this game at 60 frames per second? Because it looked really good in motion, and I'm thinking we might. That's going to be really, really good. And I mean, look, Sword and Shield, bigger worlds, right? In terms of the game itself, it's much, much larger, and Game Freak has to deal with that. But Game Freak has said they're not the greatest when it comes to 3D development yet, and they're trying to get better. So Bandai certainly came in and showing them how it's done right now. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button, it really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it's Apex Legends going to the Switch, along with some other games from EA, kind of increasing that Switch support, almost like the install size is getting up there for the Switch. Also, what do you think about the new Skate game that's coming out? What year do you think it's coming out? I'm gonna say 2023. It's gonna be a bit, I think. And then also a new Crash Bandicoot game. When is it getting announced and when is it coming out? And do you think it's gonna be a next-gen game or it's just gonna be on current platforms now? Thanks guys for watching. Have a great weekend. I'll see you back here Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time for Newswave.